2026 is going to be an awesome year. We got some pretty cool stuff coming up. First off, we got Foundations of Recovery. This is our flagship program. We're starting it in January.
This is for anyone, man, woman, or couple, who wants to come and reclaim their heart from shame, trauma, and betrayal. We start off with an education on all sorts of principles, give you the common language. We feed you from a fire hose in terms of all things recovery.
It is such a great start to recovery. And we get at the roots of things, Tyler. This isn't like any other program. Like, this is our healing journey in process, and Foundations is where we begin.
If you look at the value that you're getting there to kick off a good recovery with all of the right education, all of the right language, and a team to get you started while also being directed by Brannon and myself through the whole process, what a deal.
So if you're interested, if you're struggling, if you've been wanting to do something for a long time, jump into this. This only comes around every so often, and we would love to have you there.
Click the link in the description to sign up for it. And to make it even sweeter, we're also including a raffle for a free pass to the Radiant Dawn retreat. Anyone who signs up for Foundations will be added to the raffle for that free Radiant Dawn pass. If you're a man and you sign up for Foundations, your name still gets entered, and you can give that pass away if you win it to any woman that you want to.
So what you're saying, Tyler, is if you sign up and participate in Foundations, you could possibly go to Radiant Dawn for free?
That's exactly what I'm saying, which is crazy because Foundations by itself is already an insane value.
Man, I sound so salesy. But it actually is awesome. So come to Foundations. And even if you don't come to Foundations, sign up for Radiant Dawn. It's beyond therapy. The best healing experiences that you can have.
Click the link below and come join us. How can I be fully authentic and rebuild trust with my spouse? Welcome to the Therapy Brothers podcast.
I'm Brannon.
I'm Tyler.
We're brothers.
We're therapists.
And we know recovery.
Bring your stories, your questions, your successes with real recovery.
Hey, Tyler, you ready to have some hard conversations?
Let's do it.
Let the Therapy Brothers podcast begin. Hey, Tyler, how's it going?
It's going okay, man. It's one of those days. It's a weird thing. We're recording today. I'm in Burley, Idaho, getting ready to go to a friend's. They had one of their children, their son, pass away, so we're going to a funeral. So it's like a heavy-hearted day, but I'm doing great. It's just sad day, you know.
Just nothing worse than something like that. So, well. My prayers go up to them. They're such good people. I've met them before, and I know you're good friends with them. So
yeah, I mean, if you don't get a chance, I'll just throw them a quick shout out because we're praying for you and with you guys. But the Anderson family, just salt of the earth, best people you could ever meet, and so just wanted to let you guys know that you're on our mind and that we love you.
Yeah. All right, Tyler. Well, we have a guest on who's been on before, but he's still working through some things, still trying to figure out how to create safety and trust in his relationship. So I'll hand it over to him. Steve, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, hi guys. It's good to be back on. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here. I really get a lot out of listening to your show. So thank you for what you do.
You're welcome. If you could just fill us in from the last time you came until now and just kind of tell us what's going on with you and ask any questions you have.
Yeah, so last time I was on, it was earlier in my recovery. It was over a year ago now. So last August, I did a therapeutic disclosure and with my partner. So, I mean, I've been in recovery since then. And that's been going reasonably well, I would say, my recovery. But I don't know, even after disclosure, there were some lies and kind of like trickle truths about things other than sexual sobriety, really, that kind of like that pattern of dishonesty has been hard for me to break. So anyway, that's obviously caused a lot more damage to my relationship. And so trust has been slow to rebuild there in my relationship, kind of security, safety for both of us, really, because like when I create unsafety for her, she, you know, there's really no sense of stability for me either. And I see that at the root of that is me. But anyway, yeah, there's also just, I don't know, there's been a lot of just life stuff that's happened. In the course of my recovery, I have two daughters. One is 17 and the other one is 12. So my older daughter, like, I really haven't had a relationship with her in a couple of years, and largely speaking, that's, yeah.
They're from a previous relationship than the one you're currently in.
Yeah. So my kids are from a previous relationship, a previous marriage that I was in. And so, there was a lot of damage created with my ex-wife and to my kids as well. But so I don't have a relationship with my older daughter now. I'm starting to rebuild that, but it's been pretty tenuous. It creates a lot of friction in my relationship.
So,
because, yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but and maybe you're
No, that's okay.
maybe you're
Go
getting
ahead.
into this.
I'm trying to be concise.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand better, like why haven't you had a relationship with her in the last 2 years?
I mean, it's in part her choice, I would say. She has created a lot of chaos. I have not protected my wife. So like, I'll give you an example of something that happened last September. So August, we did the disclosure last September. I went to pick up my younger daughter. My older daughter, she hasn't been coming to my house for the last 2 years. So I really have had very limited contact with her. But on this day, I went for a walk with my older daughter, and we talked for a while. And then at the end of the conversation, she started saying negative things about my partner and my stepdaughter. And then I defended her to some extent. I mean, I should have shut it down more strongly, but also then after that, I didn't tell my partner about that. I didn't tell my wife about that conversation. And then I trickled out the kind of content of that conversation over several weeks. Like, my daughter said this about you and this about, like, I didn't just kind of say, hey, this is what happened. It was shitty. Sorry. I don't know if I can swear on here, but
you're fine.
So yeah, not only did I not defend her as strongly as I should have, I then also lied to her by trickling out the content of that conversation. So.
Okay.
Can I ask you why you trickled it out? Why did you hide it?
Why did I hide it? I guess I was probably afraid of the consequences to me, if I'm being honest. I mean, that was probably the biggest reason that I would have done that. I mean, I was afraid of the potential impact on future relationship with my daughter as well. I mean, what spurred that conversation was my wife saying, kind of like, offer to her that I'll write her a letter, because there has been a division between the two of them. They had been close at one time, and now my daughter just kind of sees her as persona non grata, So my wife says, okay, tell her I'm willing to like write her a letter, try to like work through this. And that's what spurred her saying all these negative things. And, and there's a lot of impacts there, because like my younger daughter is still coming here. She's seeing her older sister kind of doing these things. And I don't know, the dynamics that I'm dealing with all of that are really, really difficult.
Okay. So you're kind of the middleman. sounds like. And in being the middleman, you're trying to avoid the consequence of the reality of what's going on. You're kind of massaging the things, and then it's causing broken trust. Is that like you're trickling out? You're not fully disclosing what's being said. Trust breaks, and your wife's mad at you or doesn't trust you now. And so like it's just kind of a mess all around, right? Underneath all of it is the question of what are you afraid of? Like you say, I'm afraid, and you say, I'm afraid of the consequences. You love your daughter, you love your wife. What are you most afraid of?
Hmm. It's a tough question, I guess. That I mean, certainly I'm afraid of ending up alone, which a lot of my behaviors lead directly to me just pushing everybody in my life away, right? Um,
That's what I'm curious about is, are you creating the very thing you're most afraid of?
I mean, yeah, it kind of looks that way, right?
Yeah.
The scramble. Like, the only problem with that, Brandon, is it's even worse than that because you're putting all your energy into making it not happen, and then it still happens. So you might as well have it happen with and save your energy for something good. You know,
Yeah.
like no, it makes sense why you're doing it. I wonder too if there's actually more than that fear that's there, because if that was the only fear, then you would see that and go, wait a second, I'm creating this. It seems like there's a secondary fear that's there too. That's something along the lines of not being able to handle the heat of somebody being disappointed with you on either side.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely there. I mean, I would say, but I think at a deeper level, there's like just kind of the fear that I'm not good enough, that I kind of not capable of being good enough. That I mean, I've certainly failed my kids a lot. I failed my ex-wife. I've been, just really terrible husband to my current wife, and in a lot of ways. And so I'm working at recovery every day, right? And I'm working to be a better man. But
I worry that you're doing the wrong work. Just so how many since the last time we talked, how many disclosures have you done?
how many disclosures? I did a therapeutic disclosure, um, and then I've done I've done quarterly polygraphs, just kind of like maintenance polygraphs.
Okay.
To I mean, there's been when you say disclosure, like what are you asking, I guess?
Yeah, like formal disclosures, and then also I was going to ask about polygraphs as well. Um, and why have you done those things?
Um, why have I done? I mean, we did the disclosure because it was recommended by. It
The
seems to
therapist.
be recommended by the therapeutic community in this context to do that.
Okay.
I mean, we went out of state to do that, and I mean, truth be told, I mean, I've heard you guys talk about disclosure and different places, and I really don't feel like I was adequately prepared. So it didn't go like it's a terrible situation anytime, but it did not go as well as it could have, and I regret that I wasn't better prepared.
Okay.
But in terms of the polygraph, that was the recommendation at this treatment center, that they recommended doing, like I did a polygraph with disclosure, and then they recommended doing quarterly polygraphs for
Did
the
you go
first
to
year.
did you go to treatment in Colorado?
I did.
Okay. Yeah. I know who you're talking about. Okay, so you're doing quarterly. polygraphs. You did a disclosure that didn't go very well. Um, okay. And then the other parts of your recovery, when you say you're doing, what you can, what are you doing? How are you working your recovery?
Um, I have a sponsor. I'm attending 12-step meetings and doing step work. I also attend other support groups. I do therapy,
Okay.
prayer and meditation daily.
Okay. This sounds like good
He's
stuff.
Brannon. He's king recovery.
Yeah, like that's all good stuff.
Everything he's doing is like textbook. Like, yeah, check.
This is what like nobody tells you in recovery. It's like, okay, like the relationship, it illustrates the issue. It's like, okay, we got broken trust or problems or whatever. So now we need to fix something. So now we go into these communities, these therapists, these 12-step communities, whatever. And they say, okay, here's the process. Here's the 12 steps you go through, or here's Patrick Carnes has 33 steps, I believe. I mean, I could be off on that, but it's something like 33 steps from CSATs. And like, here's the steps. Here's what you do to, be a good person and get back into recovery. But there's something that they don't tell you. And this is where it actually becomes counterproductive to actual real recovery. The intention or the why behind you do anything is what truly matters. And so a lot of times what Tyler and I will see is a guy wanting to rebuild trust with his wife. So he'll jump through every hoop that he possibly can because he wants to show her, I'm good. See, I'm good. I'm better. I'm not going to hurt you again. I'm good. That actually damages trust in a relationship. Do you know why, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I can see, like, I've been listening to the book No More Mr. Nice Guy, and it kind of makes me think of that as you're talking, kind of like being out of integrity in a way that's like, I want to look good. I want to like do what will appease the other person to look good or get approval. But then what's the motivation behind, if the motivation if it's motivated by something like to keep the relationship together or whatever, then that could be problematic.
If underneath is I'm unlovable or nobody will love me as I am, and you believe that about yourself, then what that leads to is a lot of proving yourself. Performance. Yeah. And in that performance, you're actually manipulating, and somebody in a relationship with you can sense that manipulation, and they don't feel safe. They don't feel safe with you. But here's the catch-22 is if in your belief system, you believe you're unlovable, and your very nature, some things about you are scary or triggering to a partner, then it's really hard to be authentic because I know she'll freak out or she can't handle this or whatever. So, and I feel like I'm unlovable, and this will just prove that true. If I show up authentic and she freaks out, that'll prove it true that I'm not lovable. And that's what needs to be overcome in order to rebuild real trust and safety in a relationship. Are you following me, Steve?
Yes, I think I'm following. I mean, it seems like you guys come up against this a lot when you're talking to addicts, that this theme kind of comes up quite a bit.
Yep, you're right.
You're spot on. And that's the challenge with all of that, is what Brannon is saying has so much deeper work to it than the quick answer to your question you started with today. Right. And when Brannon asks you, like, honestly, like I was going to ask the same question, like, why have you done 4 polygraphs in the last year? And you're like, well, because it's recommended. It's like, no. Why? And if the answer is because I have to perform in order to not get left, because I'm afraid that down at the core I'm unlovable, the work is that core belief of unlovableness. And then here's the hard part. Part of that work on that actual belief is to start stepping into those places that are a little bit scary. So here, like and then you find yourself in these pinches, right? Because you have a daughter who's 17, who haven't seen or talked to a lot in 2 years. I would bet that deep inside you, the more you wrestle with the man you want to be and the man God's calling you to be, whatever else, there's a piece of that that's settling on your heart and on your conscience saying, I need to be a better father than I have been for the last 17 years. I need to be more engaged. I need to step in. I need to be caring. I need to love her. I need to make sure that she knows she's got a father and a masculine figure in her life who's going to go to bat for her. And at the same time, the more you step into that work, you run the risk of then having your wife, who you've hurt, feeling like you're choosing sides, and then you're going to have to navigate the conflict between both of them towards you for the sake of being authentic, because you're being called to be a better husband and a better father, even though those seem to be at odds with each other. And your question was, well, how do I do that? Because I don't want to do it just to hurt my wife's feelings, but I really feel called to be with my daughter and have, I mean, I'm sitting here hearing the conversation you had and going like, thank goodness she had a safe landing spot to let all the steam go. Like, what's wrong with you hearing that and holding that and then being able to go, yeah, I did that so that she can have a chance to process everything she's going through. Yeah. And then you go to your wife and she's like, well, this, what's wrong with her having her feelings? And the pinch point is that both of them are taken personally by you, that you're somehow failing them both.
And you're in the middle, supposed to be caretaking for both of them, supposed to be like fixing, like if you knew you were lovable, then you could show up honest with both of them about your truths and then hand it back to them.
Yeah.
Right. I love my daughter and I want to listen to her and I want to hear her and empathize and validate her pain. I love my wife, and you could say this to your daughter. I love my wife. I'm not going to talk shit on her. I'm going to like defend her and protect her because I love her. And so I want to hear your pain, daughter, but also let you know that like I see a lot of the good in my wife. And I want to hear your pain, wife, about my daughter talking bad about you, but I also need to show up for my daughter, right? And in that strength, that's where
that's trust.
You start to build trust in that strength. Do you see that, Steve?
Yeah, no, I mean, I do see that. I mean, and I think that kind of to your point, though, is like, in terms of my daughter, there's a place where like being able to have a boundaried kind of conversation, like it's not like, oh, I'm hurting, like I feel angry towards this person. It's kind of like if she's coming to me saying just kind of slanderous things or shit talking, frankly, like, I mean, I'm happy to hear her feelings, right? And I got, like, obviously there's feelings behind what she's saying.
And
yes.
That's where you hold that boundary is, look, I can't hear this from you if you're just slandering her, but I do want to hear what it's like for you to like have a stepmom when you're 16, 17 years old. That's hard. What is that like for you? And so like you can help her to communicate more vulnerably than just trash your wife, but you can stay in the game with her. And this boundary of all or nothing of like, well, I can't talk to my daughter now because like it'll piss my wife off. That's not in your integrity. And so that will work back toward breaking you down and not feeling like you're lovable, not feeling like you're okay.
Yeah, I see that, and also how that too would actually lead to less trust in my relationship with my wife if I can't kind of stand up to her and say, like, this is something I need to do. Like, having a relationship with my daughter is important, and I know it's scary for you, but like if I just back away from it and say, oh, okay, that's like too scary or something, so I won't do that.
Weakness.
Right.
It sounds weird because this happens all the time is that sometimes if it's going against a principle of who you are and you agree to it, that is creating less safety and trust because
being dishonest.
It's dishonest and it's not authentic, right? And yet you think you're doing the right thing by being a good husband, when in reality, what she's really needing, even more so than just being happy with you, is she needs to know who she's married to. She needs to know that you're a guy who's going to value this relationship with your daughter. And then she needs to let the chips fall where they're going to fall and make her decisions, right? She needs to know that you feel, that you're choosing certain parts of your own recovery work because you see a reason why to choose those rather than because you were told to. And it's your choice to do the thing that's maybe even more important than the thing itself. The why you do the thing rather than the thing itself. Because you're now a deciding, principled man who's living and operating from a set of core principles, and those things give you the best chance of rebuilding trust and keeping the very things you want, even though there's still no guarantees. But you'll be better off either way, because either you live a lie and cling to something that's not real, or you live in the truth and invite the people who want to live in that truth with you to come.
Right. So how do you get to those kind of answers? Like you're saying, sometimes the decision is more important than whatever the actual action is. Like, how do you find those answers?
I'll give you an example of this really quickly. I got a guy who I've known for a very long time. We do this Rising Sun retreat. I've invited him to come for the last 3 years, and he won't come, even though he knows he wants to and he needs to. He won't come because it's triggering for his wife if he travels. Because there's been some things in the past that have caused problems. If he's going to stay home, he needs to know the why he stays home in terms of the man he wants to be. And or he needs to be honest with her and say, hey, I need to be a deciding man. This is going to be good for my recovery. This is going to be good for my process. This is going to put me around other people who are like-minded. It's going to give me the right kind of energy, try to connect me to the heart of things. I need to go do this, even though I know it's scary for you. And here's how I'll try to help create safety for you in doing it. I'm going to go in a boundaried way, but I have to do this thing, right? So either way, he could choose to stay or go, but he needs to go into himself and say, why? And if the why is, well, I just don't really want to handle my wife being mad at me, that's self-centered and that's weak and that's feeding shame. If he goes, you know what? I've run this through with my higher power and myself, and actually it's better for me to stay home and give a little bit more time and space. But I'm going to do that because that's who I want to be. Then I'm not going to resent her, and I'm also not going to feel inauthentic because I've come to the honest truth in why it's right for me to do X, Y, or Z. So you got to ask yourself that question when you make those kinds of decisions. Why am I doing the things that I'm doing? And then sit with it and be honest with yourself as those answers come to the surface and ask if those are valid answers.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for sharing that example. That makes sense. So it's not necessarily that one action or another is right or wrong. It's like the intentionality behind it, the motivation underneath the choice there.
Go ahead, Brannon.
Well, I mean, this is so much deeper. This goes so much further than just like, hey, don't make your decisions out of just keeping your wife comfortable all the time. Like that's kind of the gist of it. But like, make your decisions because of your purpose with God and knowing who you are when it comes to that purpose. And if you do that, then the trust will fall into place. It makes me think about like a William Wallace or, a character like that, where this man has purpose and passion and is moving toward truth, not because a woman comes to him and says, this is what your truth is. Not because a woman comes to him and says, well, you really should do it this way or that way or whatever. Now, our partners are the women in our lives are really important and influential and all of those things, but our purpose is independent of that. Now, our purpose together as a couple, you bring both of our individual purposes together. What am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is A man who stands unto himself in his purpose with God is the type of man that can actually let his woman be uncomfortable, so much so that she can trust him. It sounds paradoxical. It sounds backwards, but that's how it works. So these systems that you're under with therapy and things, I really am worried for you, Steve. I'm not saying you shouldn't do them, but I'm saying you really should take a step back and say, why am I doing each one of these things? Is my motivation fear? Is my motivation fear that she won't like it if I don't do it? If that's the case, don't do that thing. And then apply a lot of love and empathy and understanding if she's triggered by that, but be honest with her that that doesn't work for you. And your relationship will probably get harder before it gets better, because you'll have to learn how to navigate this new reality of honesty in the relationship, which will be uncomfortable, and she'll both hate it and she'll love it. And you'll want to run and hide and go back to the caretaker-y Mr. Nice Guy stuff, because that's where you can hide, but that creates the long-term damage in the relationship. So I'm saying a lot right now. I'm trying to get to the underneath of all of it. Like Tyler said earlier, like this is so much deeper than just what we talk about all the time.
I to add to that, Brannon, it's like, if I am doing it for the wrong reason, it doesn't mean I don't do it. It means I need to ask myself if there's a right reason, and then I need to make a decision.
Yes.
And, I think this, talking to you, Steve, I'm kind of getting this energy from you that you're actually, this is what's crazy, is you're so in on recovery. Like, I love that you're doing everything you're doing. But what I think the thing is that in everything that you're doing, your new favorite word to everyone, to your therapist, to your sponsor, to your wife, to everybody, is why. Why? Like, why should we do a disclosure the way that you're saying we should do it? And if they can't give good reasons, and if you can't understand a great reason, then it doesn't matter what they say. You make your own decision. Ask why. Why do you, I get this all the time in my groups, like, Tyler, why are you making us do this horrible assignment that's like chewing up all the inside parts of me? And it's like, well, here's the reasons why. This is why we do it. And if you don't like it, you don't have to do it. Right? But ask why. Ask why to yourself and ask why to everybody around you, so that you can know what your intentions are when you choose to do whatever it is that you do.
And through that process, you'll get to know yourself. Like through that asking of why, Steve, you don't trust that you're not selfish. You don't trust that you're not evil in some ways. And the truth is Tyler and I talking to you just a little bit, you're a good man who's unselfish. And so, like, when something comes up, let's say your wife says, hey, go serve the neighbor. And you say, why would I do that? You know what? That really works for me. I'm going to go serve the neighbor because I want to do that. That's not about her. That's about you and who you are. And you're going to get to know yourself by really asking those questions.
What's going through you right now, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I just was, I don't know, in a joking way, I was going to say something about, like, is there a pill I could take, or, just to make it a little quicker. But anyway, no, yeah, like I recognize that kind of the appeasing I can do sets up this dynamic where I overpromise, and then I end up under-delivering, breaking trust more, causing resentment in myself, and just perpetuating this cycle, which is not what I want.
Right.
Yeah, as you're talking, Steve, it reminded me of this is a way old thing. It's going to date me, but there used to be an advertisement for the new, like, Bud Light came out with Bud Dry, and they would say, "Why ask why? Try Bud Dry."
You pulled that out?
I don't know why, because we keep saying the word "why" all the time. So all I can think about is either Simon Sinek's book "Start with Why."
So you threw in a Bud Dry commercial?
I got stuck with "Why ask why," and I would actually maybe change it to like.
This better be good.
Why ask why? So I don't lie.
Oh, wow. You did it.
Oh, Brannon. Yeah, I love your mockery. So
that was awesome.
But in a certain sense that, yeah, you should ask why. Like that's something that not enough people do. And it actually stretches. Like if you go into your therapist or something and you ask that question, it makes the therapist have to be a better therapist for you too, because then they're just not going through the run of the mill like, well, because I was told that's what we're supposed to do in this process. They need to go, no, here's the principles behind why we're doing what we're doing. And if you don't agree with those principles, then you don't have to agree with them. Like you can make your own choices. So
yep. I'm mocking it, but I actually do love it. Why ask why so I don't lie? If you lived your life by that mantra, Steve, it would change everything and it would help you rebuild trust. Like that's it. So, yeah, that's funny, Tyler. Steve, thank you for coming back on the show. Really appreciate you, man, and coming and being vulnerable. We just kind of discussed things today. I hope it's gotten you thinking at least a little bit about the intentions behind your recovery, and hopefully it gets you asking why some.
I know that we've said this, Brannon, a lot over the last couple of weeks with some of our callers. We've gotten a lot of men lately, which has been great, probably because of the drawing we did. But man, Steve, like, I don't know if you've ever done anything like the Rising Sun or the men's retreat, but man, if there was a way for you to get out there, it would be right in line with where I think you're going in your recovery. So we would love to have you there. Steve, last word, thought before we close up.
I really like that mantra, and I'm definitely gonna hold on to that. And I mean, just being curious about why I'm doing things, why people are asking me to do things, why people are doing the things they do. Why am I on the show right now? Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Hopefully, as you assess that, you can say, I came on because I wanted to do this, because I wanted to get help with X, Y, or Z. And oftentimes when you ask that question, make sure it ties back to principle. Understand what your principles and values are, because that's how you're going to strengthen the truth of who Steve is. So thank you for coming on the show today, man. Thank you for your willingness to be open and share yourself the way that you do. And thank you to our listeners for being here. And until next time, you guys, keep on keeping on.